Welcome to If You Say This Can Talk. We share our unique perspective on a variety of topics. My name is Terry, and I'm one of your hosts.
My name is Robert. I'm your other host.
My name is Patrick, and I'm another one of your hosts today.
Okay, man, today, man, we got a special guest on, man. We got my boy. They know about a lot of things, man, but, go by, Buntry from Inglewood Families, man. He here representing the reality of what we're dealing with. So he's going to give you a little backstory of what's going on, man. Say what's up to the people, Buntry.
How y'all doing? It's a pleasure for me to be here. I'm glad that I'm here at this table talking to my brothers that I've been knowing for so long and been doing this for so long, and we can get a unique perspective about the reality of what's going on in our communities, and so we can put a better light on it,
Right.
than shine a brighter light than people did before.
Right. And now that we here, we all didn't grew up and we didn't came, but what we came from is a lot of what the streets are still addicted to. There's a lot of little kids are still gravitating to.
Right.
These are the stories they still tell.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I want to kind of tap into that beginning stage before we became those people. So the information that you was given when you decided to join the Inglewood families, when you joined the gang, did the information change? Did your idea and perspective change? Or, how long did it take you to change?
Oh, actually, it took me a while for my mind to actually change. You know what I'm saying? Because there's this thing called hypnotic rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Hypnotic rhythm is that once you start putting yourself doing certain things for a certain amount of time, it starts becoming you. So where you start thinking this is you. You know what I'm saying? So we created this player. You know what I'm saying? That we all designed. You know what I'm saying? And then guess what? We start adding to that player. Whatever we needed to add to that player, we start doing it. So basically to get recognition from whoever we were trying to get recognition for, and that was with the streets, our peers, the people that we looked towards to at that time. So I started getting to a hypnotic rhythm at a very
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
into which I started thinking that everybody that they said was my enemies, which was the Rollin 60's, the H-Ray gangsters, or any other Crips that was outside of Inglewood or within inside of Inglewood was my enemies. So therefore that made my community even more smaller, my network even more smaller, the people who I had dialogue with even more smaller. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when I became into a hypnotic rhythm, that lasted for decades because as time was going, I started adding to that. What I mean by adding to that was building up these walls, you know what I'm saying, to forget who I really was, forget who Gregory was. You know what I'm saying? And then now I started building to that.
No, for sure. I don't mean to cut you off or nothing, but I relate to that, what you're talking about. And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves too fast, though. But how old were you when you first got, introduced to the gang lifestyle or started gang banging?
Okay. Well, I want to take it back. Okay, I want to go. See, I grew up I went to One Lane Elementary, so I grew up around the neighborhood, Fifth Avenue, Manchester. You know what I'm saying? This is where I grew up at. You know what I'm saying? My summer grounds, Fifth Avenue, Manchester, Warren Lane Elementary. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I grew up in a lifestyle. I knew everybody in my neighborhood, my friends. You know what I'm saying? That's who I was around. So you know what I'm saying? So I was introduced to it since I was 8, 9 years old. But I didn't start jumping off the porch until I was 12 or 13. You know what I'm saying? So I really getting involved. But it didn't start when I was 12 or 13. It didn't start when I was 8 or 9. You know what I'm saying? It started from the lack of insight that I had within myself. You know what I'm saying? Within my household. You know what I'm saying? And which I grew up in a good household, but I had a lack of insight of how to handle the problems that was going on in a lot of households. As far as in my father's, you know what I'm saying? Which he was a good man, but he was hard. You know what I'm saying? So when he came through the front door, I was out to the back door. Right, you know what I'm saying? But which he was a good man, you know what I'm saying? Because he had responsibilities, but I couldn't understand how to handle the discipline at that time. Which I really needed. So I was looking towards the streets, which was a bad advice. Which to go back to my question what Terry said, you know what I'm saying? About the what did you say? I'm sorry. You said something about when did it start for me? Or did I look at things differently? Because when they told me, they glamorized everything. You know what I'm saying? They said this is what it was. He come through with the music. You know what I'm saying? Come through with the beat. You know what I'm saying? Come through with a few dollars. Come through with everything I needed as a father figure. You know what I'm saying? But that was the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? That was the wrong advice. You know what I'm saying? But it was too late once I jumped off. Because guess what? The streets started dimming my light. Because as we come in as children out of our mother's womb, we come in as a bright light. But the world dims our light. You know what I'm saying? Our environment, our circumstances. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then so it didn't come to later on to actually I started being in prison and stuff like that and started being around my brothers, you know what I'm saying? I kinda already knew that the thing that we was doing was wrong. I'm not gonna sit here and just lie and be like, oh yeah, I never knew. I came out nobody comes out the womb, oh I'm a ganger, I'm a crip, I'm a blood, you know what I'm saying? Well no, you was born into something. You can say, okay, my mother was this, my father was that. But nobody came out their womb, I'm a crip, I'm a blood, I'm a hoover, I'm a gangster disciple, I'm a vice lord, you know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? The world start adding these things into your life because you came in as a bright light. So, you know what I'm saying? I had an insight because I was insecure as a child. You know what I'm saying? Which we always was. You know what I'm saying? I had my ego was running wild. I was impulsive. You know what I'm saying? I reacted to everything. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So therefore, and then my environment around me was adding to that. You know, so these are your enemies. So therefore, when I'm thinking of these people my enemies, so therefore, if I'm coming into contact with this person, I'm already setting up a defense mechanism without even knowing I'm missing my blessing. This brother could be a good brother. You know what I'm saying? And I could be a good brother to that brother, but we're not even giving each other a chance because we let our environment dictate our future.
Right, right. So now, being young, right, this is adult thinking now. So being young and we on the streets having one way of thinking, how did your mind progress when you went to jail? How did that thinking change? Because we think one way on the streets with guns and hanging out, right, and we think another when we first time eating at juvenile hall or that jail.
I love that question.
And also, I want to add to that.
Yes, sir.
What was the difference in the thinking from when you was just going to jail, like how we, you know, some of us we get the Mickey Mouse County Jail,
right.
county
I love that.
versus
the
case that because you are now currently serving a life sentence, right?
LWOP, yes, sir.
LWOP, right. And so I want to also know, to expand on that, how did the thinking change once you got this case, and when did that change, and how did that change?
Okay, that's a good question. I like that. It's crazy. When I first came, my mind was I'm not gonna sit here. I like us because we can speak the language of the streets, and we can talk to the language of the people. You know what I'm saying? We real. Because I know each and every one of you for 20 plus years, so I can say this brother's real. You know what I'm saying? You can say, if you can tell if I'm lying, I can tell if you lying. You know what I'm saying? This is why I love this table, because we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? And because we got people that we know that know us, and they're like, oh yeah, them dudes. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I love the way we push right now. I love that how we stepping back from the destructive lifestyle and step into building our communities. You know what I'm saying? On the main line, together, and we started when we was negative. But to answer your question, brother, my bad, Mr. Chris. That's what's up. So you know what I'm saying? When I came to the just for this case right here, I came in with the mind frame. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm building my player. You remember, this is a game. This is a game. We got a player in the game. We built this person. We want the shirts. We want this. Okay, I built the juvenile hall. I built the street legacy. You know what I'm saying? Now I got this county jail legacy, and I'm here for this hot one. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, I'm going to prove myself. You know what I'm saying? But not knowing I'm missing my blessing because I was interacting with different people that I called with my eyes, but these really was good dudes, and we were just fighting because of the circumstances of who we thought we was enemies. You know what I'm saying? So, but then through time, I started meeting individuals. You know what I'm saying? And then started being in situations where, like the brother Terry, I had been in the dorm with the brother. He was nothing but neighborhoods in there. You know what I'm saying? And he made sure I got my phase. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? At the time, because that was the time when it was. But guess what? He made sure everything was taken care of fair. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, when I started meeting these dudes, then I started being around people that I thought was my homies. You know what I'm saying? And these dudes that I thought was my enemies was more of my homies. You know, when I call myself out, and I ain't talking about just from Inglewood, but I'm just saying just bloods in general, you know what I'm saying? I'm not speaking down on nobody, you know what I'm saying, because we have them in all our cars or all our friendships, our relationships, but we should understand that we should interact with each other, let our own decision that can build our friendship, you know what I'm saying, not other people telling us who we should be friends with and who we should not be friends with.
Right. Living up to some rules that was already there before we was born.
And then remember, before we was born, and then when they made up the rules, they was 13 and 14 years old.
Right.
So they was kids. And then remember, if we look at science says that your brain wasn't fully developed until 26, 25 years old, right? So therefore, them kids wasn't even really understand what they was doing. Then if you put alcohol, you put drugs inside of it, you know what I'm saying? You put lack of insight, ego inside of them kids. So we still following 13 and 14-year-old rules. That's why I tell first of all, I said, if a 13 or 14-year-old come in this gate right now while we're in this prison, y'all, we're in general population. A 14-year-old comes to us, hey, y'all better come to yard. Y'all better do this. We don't look at that little dude like, you don't get your little ass up out of here. Right. Literally, if a 13 or 14-year-old come in here and tell us, like, hey, look, y'all better go to yard right now. Right. We don't look at him like, man, little boy. So why are we still following behind some little boy rules?
But I'm glad that you hit on that note, because it's something that I realized with my growth and with my decision to, start changing my life. Right. This was a decision I made at 14 years old.
Right.
Like, I'm 37 years old today.
Right.
I'm not going to still stand on an irresponsible decision that I made at 14 being this grown man today.
Right.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
Absolutely.
But
and then I just wanted to attest to what Gregory was saying, like us being in the county. A lot of times it's hard when you speak about keeping it fair. It's hard to keep it fair, not because of what maybe the Inglewood family did to me,
right?
Because of what the Rollin 60's did to me,
right?
So I'm afraid to trust,
right?
Because they already broke you.
Absolutely.
I haven't gave you an opportunity to break you. Off the dribble, I gave and said, no, he's not to be trusted.
Right.
So even coming in them incidents when I was like, you know what? Keep it fair.
Right.
Because this dude's a rider.
Right.
he deserves it. And I
Right.
understand what goes around comes around.
Right.
And I'm going to want him to give me the same grace when the tables turn.
Absolutely.
Because he has the power to do so. Not just
Absolutely.
because he's talking, not just because we just trying to find any reason to make up something. This dude has influence.
Right.
So I'm watching you with influence around here, and I'm saying, let's be fair.
Right.
Because I want to be fair. And that trusting was solidified when the tables turned. It was on me now.
Right. Absolutely.
And now I'm in the tank.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I was rewarded with the same person I was and the same person I met you as. Is
I appreciate
you
it.
kept it fair with me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And at that moment, I said, man, I like this dude.
Right.
So even to the point when I was around my homies and they was talking bad about you or having something to say, I said, y'all don't know the nigga I know.
Right. Likewise.
That's
Yeah.
who y'all talking about.
Right. Right.
But you got a fade though. We can go up there and get him though.
Right.
Give you a fade.
That's real. That's
good dude.
real man stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
when you experience the real, you stand up for it, even
Right.
if they ain't around.
Absolutely.
And that's why we need men out here
Right.
demonstrating the behaviors of
Right.
inequalities.
Right.
Because men protect each
Right.
other.
That part. And just to touch on that, for example, like when I used to be in a dorm, and I used to see you or a solid person, and then the homies like, oh, they're going right there, man. He's this, he's that, he's that. Okay, well, he gonna get that, but it's gonna be fair though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm saying, or they try to say, oh yeah, I went to him and said this. Even if it was my Damo would come back and say what he said. If I know you a real dude, whether you a Crip, Hoover, whatever you are,
Right.
and I know somebody said something that was a lie, I'm gonna check my homie like, shut up. I know he didn't turn that. I know he didn't do nothing, but it's not a lot of people that's doing that now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So we got to stick up for real man stuff. You know what I'm saying? And because there's not a lot of that right now. You know what I'm saying? And then we got to understand that the real building is in our communities.
But no, because that just makes me think too, because it's another thing that I used to think about too. Like why you say like the real men, and we got real men from all different areas. Right. You feel me? Whether it's like you say out the 60's, out the Inglewood families, out the Bonnie Hunters, the Hoovers, whatever. And I do feel like, and I want you to touch on this. Feel like the gang culture takes away from us being able to build as men.
Facts. That is absolutely
Because now we gotta sit up and tolerate this little boy or our bullshit homie, right? Because he's from our area.
Right. I got to ride with him out of obligation now.
Right.
We know he bullshit. This is what I tell people. This is what I tell people. I said, look, this is what I tell people. I said, look, I love that, Patrick, when you said this. I said, look. Wait a minute. Oh, that's people misunderstand it. I'm riding with the homie whether you right or wrong, right? Right or wrong is like if I see my brother Mabel right here and I'm walking in this building and he just getting rushed or something like that, then okay, that's my homie, I'm right. But if I know he's wrong,
Right.
and I know Patrick is what we call low key is supposed to be an op, which we know that's not the truth no more. And I know my homie is wrong. My job is to tell my homie like, look, you're wrong. Right. Not to ride with my homie just because he's my homie. Right. But a lot of people's not doing it. They're like, whether he right or wrong, I'm going to ride with my homie. That's not real man stuff. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because a real man going to understand his obligations, his duties, not just to his family, but to himself as well. Hold on, we got to put ourselves first. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to be there men for our families and our communities. You know what I'm saying? And then a woman is not going to respect a man that's going to be telling him behind no other man, especially behind no kid, no boy stuff. A woman wants a real man that's about something, that's doing something. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be about a community and about building a family. Because she want to know, hold on, is he going to be secure? If something happens to me, I want to make sure my kids. Men back in our community because we had them before we were separated. You know what I'm saying? Before all the families went outside the community and stuff like that, we had no people to look up to. We looking up to the dope man now. Mm-hmm. Right. We looking up to the game back there. Right. Our influences, the positive influence, need to come back to our communities as well. You know what I'm saying? And not.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And that was my main reason of why I started publishing books. This is the main reason why I got with the brothers. And I said, man, I know it's something new, but why not? Right. You know, there's so many people doing stuff out there, but we are the influence. Right. If you think about now, like even being on the yard, I heard people come with stories from 20 years ago. Right.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You know, I didn't realize that was going on, but then when I realized that they was holding on to stories to do bad stuff,
right,
I had to realize the bad stuff I did was holding on to the families.
Right.
You know, but we'll come right back, man. I appreciate you, man. We got another 15-minute call with
you. Man, I appreciate it. I'm here.
Back, man.
Hey, y'all got me juiced up now. Come on, let's go.
Take it to the mission real quick. Pay some bills.